Bron Breakker was originally set to win the Royal Rumble, the best and worst of WWE SmackDown. Triple H is pushing Oba Femi to the moon. Ava quit WWE over a lowball contract offer. Ric Flair sparks false death rumors. Ricochet infuriated the WWE over serious accusations. John Cena returns. Xavier Woods bashes Big E's official WWE retirement. Let's start with the best and worst of WWE SmackDown. SmackDown witnessed the fallout of Royal Rumble 2026, and it was a great show. WWE showcased several major things and delivered perfectly on the hype for WrestleMania 42. The Women's Tag Team Championship was on the line last night, and the direction for the upcoming Elimination Chamber matches also got much clearer. However, WWE's head of creative, Triple H, has been on fans' radar lately due to the fluctuating quality of the shows. While this week's SmackDown wasn't a 5-star show, the game still managed to put on several good moments. From showcasing Cody Rhodes' wrath or giving Oba Femi a major spotlight, the company did a good job. Let's take a look at the best and worst of this week's episode of SmackDown. Number 1, the best. Tiffany Stratton qualifying for the Women's Elimination Chamber. Tiffany Stratton competed in a huge triple threat match last night on SmackDown against Chelsea Green and Lash Legend. It was a qualifying match for the Women's Elimination Chamber where all 3 superstars gave their absolute best. However, it was Stratton who ultimately emerged victorious as she is heading into Chicago to earn a WrestleMania opportunity. Triple H made the right call by letting the Buff Barbie win this match. Fresh off her Royal Rumble return, Tiffany Stratton needed something big to keep her momentum red hot. Therefore, her entering the Women's Elimination Chamber match makes Stratton one of the strongest contenders to win the contest and face a women's champion at the show of shows. Number 2, the worst. More of the same. When the first triple threat qualifiers were announced, the outcomes were pretty easy to see. While Triple H could have tried something new, he went with the predictable favorites of Stratton and Randy Orton winning. Orton is a 14-time champion and one of the bigger names. They even mentioned he qualified for his 10th Elimination Chamber match with his win on SmackDown. Aleister Black hasn't achieved nearly as much as the Viper, but he's never booked to have the chance to even try. He wasn't pinned, but has lost his last 2 matches, as this was his first bout back since losing to Damian Priest in an ambulance match. Couldn't Priest have lost here? Number 3, the best, Rhea Ripley and Sky retaining their title on SmackDown. This week on SmackDown, Rhea Ripley and Sky defended their Women's Tag Team Championship against the team of Julia and Kiana James. The outcome was pretty much predictable as Rhea retained their gold, and this was also the better decision. WrestleMania 42 is just 2 months away, and a title at this point could have shaken up all plans. Besides, it would have dealt a major blow to Ripley and Sky's momentum, and WWE couldn't have afforded that at this point. Therefore, having them retain their championship was a great decision by Triple H. This now opens the door for several intriguing matches for the Women's Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania 42. Number 4, the worst. Jade Cargill wrestles, but still doesn't defend her title. It's been over 90 days since the WWE Women's title has been on the line. Since Jade Cargill won it from Tiffany Stratton in early November, the championship has been little more than a prop. It's the SmackDown version of Dominic Mysterio and the Intercontinental Championship. The Storm confronted 2026 Royal Rumble winner Liv Morgan on SmackDown. Jordynne Grace interrupted to remind everyone that Cargill still hasn't defended the belt. It's not a smart move to point out one of the main flaws in your booking. Even when she defends the belt for the first time next week, it'll be closer to 100 days. They could have easily had a quick match at or before the Rumble. Number 5, the best. Drew McIntyre hitting back at Roman Reigns and CM Punk. This week on Raw, CM Punk and Roman Reigns had an incredible confrontation to build up their WrestleMania 42 match. While doing so, both superstars took several shots at Drew McIntyre, portraying him as an inferior champion. The Scottish Warrior became the ultimate casualty of that exchange, and he needed to address those comments ASAP. McIntyre did just that on SmackDown last night. He hit back at Punk and Reigns during his promo, validating why the undisputed WWE Championship is the top prize and he is the top champion. Having him address those comments was the best call, as it was very much needed to showcase Drew McIntyre truly as the top champion, and not just a footnote. Number 6, the worst. Jacob Fatu, the Women's United States title, and using tag team champions in the Elimination Chamber qualifiers. Both Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu attacked Drew McIntyre at different points of SmackDown. Whereas Rhodes didn't extend his assault to other people, Fatu did. He attacked several security guards who tried to calm him down. He even shoved one down next to Nick Aldis after Aldis told him to go home. When Drew or Kevin Owens did this in the past, they were punished more harshly. In fact, both got extra time to rest up for the Elimination Chamber qualifiers next week. WWE has more than enough stars on both Raw and SmackDown to fill out qualifying matches. Since stars from both brands are involved, it widens the field even further. Solo Sikoa is a tag team champion, but he had a chance to qualify. If they wanted him as a singles star, then a different member of the MFTs could have won the titles. Both women's tag team champions will also be in the qualifiers next week. As if Triple H hasn't booked the Women's United States title into the ground enough, he managed to find a way to further destroy it on SmackDown. Julia and Kiana James challenged WWE Women's Champions Sky and Rhea Ripley. It was a decent match, but there was no way Sky and Ripley were going to lose. Instead of having James eat the pin, Julia did. They don't need to set up a future title match between the two if that's the route they're taking. It's just baffling that they consciously continue to devalue a title they thought would be a great addition. Triple H is pushing Oba Femi to the moon. Under Triple H's creative control, Oba Femi is getting massive representation on WWE's main roster. After a solid performance in the Men's Royal Rumble match, the Nigerian star made his SmackDown debut this week and squashed Kit Wilson. The former NXT champion received a gigantic reaction from the WWE universe. Let's look at signs that show the game is pushing Oba Femi to the moon in the Stamford-based promotion. During the Men's Royal Rumble match, Oba Femi was engaged in a heated confrontation with Brock Lesnar. The mayor of Suplex City faced tough competition from the 27-year-old star. Even Femi took Lesnar down in the traditional match. A confrontation with the Beast Incarnate seems like a major sign that Triple H is pushing Oba heavily within the company. Back in 2023, Gunther was entangled in a similar way with Lesnar. Later, he became the World Heavyweight Champion and is now dominating the company as the career killer. This suggests that Oba Femi may be following the same path on the main roster and may soon enter the main event scene. On Raw after Royal Rumble 2026, Femi made his presence known by destroying the War Raiders. In this week's edition of the Friday Night Show, the former NXT champion destroyed Kit Wilson in a squash match and made his debut on Nick Aldis's show. This dominant booking is another subtle sign that the King of Kings is indeed pushing the young star on the main roster. According to a report from Body Slam, the Stamford-based promotion is already viewing Oba as a future WWE star. Additionally, the Triple H creative regime also feels he is present too. Reports further added that Femi's presentation has been a major hit with many in World Wrestling Entertainment, and that he is considered a big piece. This report is a clear indication that the game has all the plans to push the former NXT champion to the moon. This also means that in the coming weeks, Femi is expected to get more dominant segments on both Raw and SmackDown. The company may treat him as a free agent, allowing him to appear on both brands. Ava quit WWE over a lowball contract offer. Ava's abrupt WWE departure shocked many, but now we're learning the walkout may have been more about money than mystery. On the February 6th, 2026 episode of Wrestling Observer Live, Brian Alvarez revealed that Ava opted not to renew her WWE contract after the company failed to offer a meaningful raise. According to Alvarez, her decision mirrors a growing trend in NXT, where several stars have quietly exited due to stagnant pay. I heard about Ava, and what I was told is that one of the big reasons she did not renew her contract was very similar to what happened with Jasmine Nix. She was making a certain amount of money, she had been there for a long time, and they weren't offering her a big raise. She didn't want to keep doing it for the money she was making. This has happened in NXT with people. That's a very different tone from what was reported just days earlier. On February 1st, Dave Meltzer stated that Ava simply didn't want to wrestle anymore, and noted that no one in WWE pressured her to leave. He also mentioned that her parents own a studio, and that she might end up working there instead. Meltzer added, "I've talked to and heard from several people, and the general thing is just she didn't want to do it anymore. There was no compelling reason. It was her decision. It's not like they were going to get rid of her or anything like that." Ava's departure surprised viewers because she had just been featured in a prominent NXT storyline. WWE didn't acknowledge her exit on air, and fans were left to connect the dots. By January 30, Ava officially confirmed her departure. WWE moved her profile to the alumni section, signaling her exit was final, and she was ultimately replaced by Robert Stone, at least for the time being. Ava, only 24, made history as WWE's youngest ever general manager, and carried the weight of being a fourth-generation wrestler. Whether she returns down the line or chooses a different path, one thing is now clear. She didn't just walk away from wrestling, she walked away from a paycheck she felt wasn't worth it. Do you think Ava made the right call walking away over a lowball offer? Or should WWE have done more to keep her? Ric Flair sparks false death rumors. Ric Flair caused major confusion and concern on February 6th after posting what many fans took as a eulogy for fellow wrestling legend Ricky Steamboat. The wording of Flair's tweet left people wondering if the dragon had passed away, but he's alive and well. Flair shared a stylized photo of himself and Steamboat from their prime and wrote, "We were an era that was lost but not forgotten, because we were the best, back then and even now. Thanks for the memories, Ricky Steamboat, February 6th, 26." The emotional message, combined with the specific date and past tense tone, immediately led fans to believe Flair was mourning Steamboat. The post triggered widespread concern across social media, with many asking if something had happened to the WWE Hall of Famer. PW Insider later confirmed that Ricky Steamboat is completely fine. There's no health scare, no tragedy, just a case of Ric Flair being Ric Flair with a dramatic tribute that sounded far more serious than intended. Flair has not yet clarified the tweet, but the good news is clear. Steamboat is alive, healthy, and not the subject of any emergency. Did Ric Flair's post throw you off too? Were you one of the fans who thought Steamboat had passed away? Share your reaction in the comments. We want to hear how you read it. Ricochet infuriated the WWE over serious accusations. Ricochet may be finding peace in AEW, but his latest public takedown of WWE is reportedly not sitting well with his former colleagues. According to Dave Meltzer in the February 6th, 2026 edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Ricochet has infuriated a lot of WWE people following his recent outbursts on social media and in interviews, where he accused WWE of ruining not only his momentum, but his love for the business entirely. The reaction comes just days after Ricochet went scorched earth on Twitter, slamming WWE for how it treats its talent and killing their legacies. Same thing happens to Baylor, Shinsuke, Apollo, and many others. WWE kills legacies and love of the sport. It's what they do best. His tweet led to a lot of discussion, especially when he followed it up by clapping back at fans defending WWE's platform. One fan tried to suggest that hard times don't erase an artist's worth, but Ricochet didn't back down. "I do feel this way, and many others do as well. That company kills the love, and you end up being a shell of who you were and going through the motions." Things went to the next level when another user accused him of lacking gratitude, leading to Ricochet's most damning statement, where he made it clear WWE took his love for the business away. "They took my love of pro wrestling away. I'll never forget how I felt walking into work every week. And that platform was only to make others look good at my expense. And I told them, I'd rather quit and go back to the indies and make whatever I'd make there than to come back next week." These remarks follow his appearance on the Mark Hoke Show, where he called his WWE run a blip that derailed his wrestling identity. Though he credited the company for personal milestones, like meeting his wife, Ricochet said professionally, the experience left lasting damage. That 5 years really tarnished Ricochet's wrestling legacy. It completely changed the public's image of who Ricochet was. Now in AEW and holding the national championship, Ricochet says he's finally returning to the version of himself fans originally connected with. But as Meltzer's report confirms, WWE officials aren't staying quiet behind the scenes, and the fallout from his honesty is only just beginning. John Cena returns. You couldn't see him because he wasn't there. Literally. Pro wrestling. Eve leaned into wrestling absurdity in the best way possible during their February 6th event, delivering a hilarious moment fans won't forget. As part of a costume battle royal featuring participants dressed as legendary wrestlers and pop culture icons, John Cena's theme music suddenly hit the arena. The crowd waited, but no one came through the curtain. Then, in true invisible John Cena fashion, the wrestlers in the ring began selling moves from thin air, taking bumps, dodging punches, and reacting as if Cena himself was clearing house in the match. The crowd erupted as the segment perfectly parodied Cena's famous "You Can't See Me" gimmick. Eve's invisible Cena spot may have been a joke, but it paid tribute to a legend who left a very real impact on the wrestling business. According to WrestleVotes Radio via Fightful Select, Cena is not expected to be inducted as part of the class of 2026. Instead, WWE is planning for Stephanie McMahon to headline this year's ceremony. With her podcast, What's Your Story? Gaining momentum and her legacy as one of WWE's most influential figures, the timing lines up for a full circle moment. WWE is also continuing the Immortal Moments category this year, honoring specific matches or historic segments instead of individuals. That tradition began in 2025 with the induction of the WrestleMania 13 submission match between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Last year's class featured Triple H, Lex Luger, Michelle McCool, The Natural Disasters, Earthquake, and Typhoon, and legacy inductees like Kamala, Dory Funk Sr., and Ivan Koloff. As for Cena, his Hall of Fame moment isn't canceled, it's just delayed. WWE appears to be saving his induction for a year when it can be the main event, without sharing the spotlight. Xavier Woods bashes Big E's official WWE retirement. Big E recently announced his retirement on X with a heartfelt message talking about his injury history and thanking fans for following his career. He confirmed that he did not experience any pain while going about his daily life and that he was happy with his decision. Xavier Woods responded to the emotional message posted by his former teammate without breaking kayfabe. The former World Tag Team Champion uploaded a video of himself laughing with a short message. "Told ya." Woods was referring to the segment in which he and Kofi Kingston kicked Big E out of their faction, while telling him he would never return to wrestling. Unfortunately, they turned out to be right, and while maintaining his heel character, Woods didn't spare the chance to rub it in. Since recovering from his neck injury, Big E has become a regular on WWE's talk shows and post-show panels. He has been praised heavily for his new role, and confirmed his retirement from the ring with the following message. "I entered the pro wrestling industry at age 23, with an injury history that included a torn left ACL, torn right ACL, torn left pec, and a broken right patella. At 39, I'm well aware that I will one day have to pay the piper. I've put my body through a lot, and somehow I feel great. I don't battle daily pain. I'm able to function normally and healthfully. I'm eternally grateful for the wonderful career I stumbled into. I pray for all of my fellow athletes and performers who have not had the same good fortune. A sincere thank you to everyone who has taken the time to follow my in-ring career. It was an immeasurable gift to get to perform for you all," he wrote. It now remains to be seen where Woods and Kingston head following the official retirement of their former teammate. Bron Breakker was originally set to win the Royal Rumble. Bron Breakker's WrestleMania 42 moment was real, until it wasn't. According to a detailed report from Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Breakker was originally booked to win the 2026 Royal Rumble and go on to defeat CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship on WWE's biggest stage. The plan was part of a broader strategy developed after Seth Rollins suffered an injury at Crown Jewel. The injury to Rollins caused changes, as they went with Punk as champion with the idea of a three-step program with Bron Breakker getting a title match on the Raw Netflix anniversary show and losing, coming back and winning the Rumble and then facing and beating Punk for the title at Mania, Meltzer wrote. The creative arc would have built Breakker into a made man. Take a loss to Punk on Raw's Netflix debut, rebound with a Rumble win, and cap it all off by dethroning Punk at WrestleMania. But the landscape shifted again. Meltzer reports that Drew McIntyre advocated for a win over Cody Rhodes in their 3 Stages of Hell match, citing his repeated losses to Rhodes as justification. Rhodes reportedly supported the idea, which reshaped the title picture entirely. Enter McIntyre, who pushed the idea that since he had lost multiple times to Rhodes, that it would be better for him to win the title in the already announced 3 Stages of Hell match, Meltzer noted. Rhodes was on board with that idea. The result? McIntyre holding the WWE Championship, with the WrestleMania spotlight now shifting toward Roman Reigns versus CM Punk and McIntyre versus Rhodes. When the decision was made, they had to scrap Breakker winning the Rumble, and the choices were either Rhodes or Reigns, Meltzer added.